everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Hazy here, and I am going to be doing another episode of the CRYBABY Whims challenge for you guys today. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we're gonna go pop over to Dr. Bradford's house because I wanted to do like a little bit of a background what's going on in the world to pop on in and see what Dr. Bradford and Helena are up to. So Dr. Bradford has turned his office, now that his children aren't home, into like a research facility and treatment area. He's remodeled a few rooms in his house. Right now, he is studying Helena. So, backstory, Helena and Dr. Bradford met in medical school. Helena was a very successful medical student, very girl boss, power driven. And she grew up in a very troubled home where her family's abused drugs and stuff like that. And she had always been attracted to the wrong type of people who were extremely abusive and messed around with narcotics and stuff like that. So when she went to medical school, she got caught up in stealing medications and like altering them and selling them. Um, Dr. Bradford was working as like a with the counselor department and just like student aid. So when she got caught stealing prescriptions, they kind of put her through this like program where she had to come in and check in, and essentially it was like school counseling. And Dr. Bradford was the assistant to the main counselor of Helena. And they started meeting separately because they kind of like connected through her sharing her traumatic story about her past, which we will still get into deeper. But just know that she comes from a shady background, went to medical school, met Dr. Bradford there, but she was like, she got in trouble for selling and altering prescriptions that she would steal from the college. So, she was reprimanded for that. She was put through a treatment program. And Dr. Bradford just found her really intriguing, and she was like super smart. And she vents to him one day at a coffee shop that she wishes she could. She joined medicine because she wants to help people and alter the brain and like stop people from having addictions and making bad choices. And she was like, just think of like hypnotherapy or reprogramming through the brain with medication. So she kind of implanted the idea in Dr. Bradford, and he and her fell in love. And they ended up getting married their senior year of medical school. And Helena decided that she just kind of wanted a traditional life because there's events that happened in her past that do follow up with her in college. And she's just like, I just did this because I wanted to change my life and I just want to get away. And she's like crying to him. And he had secretly in the background been working on making his own pharmaceutical based on making the first prototype shifter based on Helena's idea. So he tells her, like, honey, I did the thing you had like talked about wanting to do, and she is desperate because this person from her past comes to her college and like threatens her for money, and she's like, do it, wipe my memory. And she makes a video of, so he doesn't reprogram her the first time. He gives her the medicine. She has a video where she reprograms herself to be the person she wants to be, which is the Stepford housewife experience. When they get married and they are a young couple, Dr. Bradford is obsessed with the way this medicine has worked. He had heard about this like hypnotic flower that when you smell the pollen, it like alters your brain chemistry, and it grew in El Salvador. So he and a friend that he made in medical school as well kind of like tampered and experimented further on this. Go there and harvest it. And they've been experimenting with different levels because so far Helena has to take the medicine every day. So she's been kind of like, she took the prototype. She has been ground zero patient. and it is essentially her idea, and she has been consenting and willing. But Dr. Bradford has also been altering part of the pre-programming. So she is so far removed from her original self and her initial programming from herself that she is a shell of who she used to be. So the consent is kind of like no longer really there at this point because it has been decades and Dr. Bradford has tweaked it. And then, like, anytime he's had to reset her memory through the reprogramming hypnosis, he's added things and took away things that he liked. So he kind of, grew on this power trip. He was playing God, felt really powerful, and then he was able to sell it to other husbands who were wanting the same experience. And Helena also has brought in friends as well. So women who also consented to it, but consent only goes so far because they could never do their own programming every single time and then reset. So we saw Dr. Bradford. I'm sorry, we're still here, guys. We saw Dr. Bradford try to make a more permanent pill and give that to Marigold. And that's how he did that hard reset, trying to wipe Jace away from her memories as her high school boyfriend, and just said, oh, he's always been your sister's boyfriend or whatever. He has no idea that his stronger dose didn't stay working, that it was like slipping, and she was getting paranoid and she was getting her memories back. And so he has no idea all that's happening. So now he has been using the more stronger dose on Helena, and he's just kind of right now doing like research, checking in on Helena and her lab work. But he wants to take it even further because he is a plastic surgeon to the stars as well as like a mini chemist. He is doing like further research because he plans on doing brain surgery on Helena so that he never has to do the medication again. Yes, obviously, the medication makes him long-term money. So yes, the medication makes him long-term money, but he is more of a idealist where he enjoys playing God, and he would like to have the most permanent solution and just charge a one-time fee because it's more his ego at this point and not dollar sign. So if you guys can't tell, he remodeled his daughter's bedrooms, took down the wall in between, and also closed off the door here and has turned um, the front room of his house. He has turned this front room of his house into a spying room, essentially. So he has been filming Marigold through the lens. And so whoever Dr. Bradford was before he got this power trip is gone. He is full on treating the world as his dollhouse. He is a creeper and a insane man. Super insane. So at this point, he is documenting everything. He has bulletin boards, like screens, a telescope, his desk, and through here, he has where he makes the chemical, and he is trying to turn it into like a chip in the brain um, that will forever emit the pheromones from that flower or the pollen from that flower he's using to try to like make a transmitter and all that stuff. So that is my make-believe science behind all that, but he has like a camera in here to make sure nobody comes in and all that. But Dr. Bradford is crazy, guys. Like, he is full on crazy. Um, but he has been thinking of a more permanent solution, at least for his wife. He might not do it for every single. That is where we are with Dr. Bradford. So he is going to input some information into his medical journal and work on his prescription. But I wanted to explore more of how Dr. Bradford has been acting. He is working on a more permanent solution for Helena, and at the same time, he's also trying to find a way to live forever. And he has heard about vampires, which is it's just the thing in the Sims world. but they're more obscure in the modern version. But he's heard of, alien sighting and vampires, and he's really interested in like possibly finding a scientist who may have DNA samples that he can work with and use in his medicine to prolong life and even prevent death without the bloodthirsty side effects. Um, don't worry, guys, I'm not adding sci-fi directly, and there are parts of the challenge that we actually do marry a vampire, I think, on Gen 10, but I'm not going to go heavy on the fantasy in this, but this is The Sims, so that does exist, but I'm going to make it more obscure. Um, but it is something he is researching because that exists in this world. So again, like I said, he's looking for a more permanent solution for Helena, at least surgery wise, and he plans on putting her under the knife relatively soon. I do know Helena did ask to have another child in the last episode, so she could be pregnant. I'm actually going to check. Why did it ask me? I'm just going to make it happen because it literally asked me. Let's just hit okay and see what it gives us. 2 female babies. Oh, I mean, it could be a thing that is a side effect for the medicine. Let's just do it again. And let's just hit okay and see what happens. Okay, she's got a male. I just want a single baby. Um, but yeah, so that is, that's where they are. It's not a good story. It's meant to be creepy and scary. And I definitely think the upgrades to Dr. Bradford's dollhouse is creepy and scary. We'll have her take her pregnancy test and find out that she's pregnant. So Helena has found out she is pregnant. She is not going to go tell Dr. Bradford. I actually do want to lock that door and make it where only he can enter. Yeah, so that way he can only enter. We have a few more things we need to clean, and then she's going to go to bed. But Helena's past is still a little bit more mysterious. I do plan on revealing it. I do have it figured out. But I just want to keep it a little bit more mysterious for a teeny bit longer, because I think it's going to be the catalyst for the reason maybe Nico finds out about everything going on with Marigold, because he has to find out. We end up getting divorced when we are adults. That's a part of the challenge. So I've decided that Helena's past will be the reason why, and I can't wait to show you guys. But yeah, so I hope you guys like how I explained more about how they met. There's something gross. Ah, I found it. Oh, what a victory. That was pure gold, guys. Oh God, we're about to have the cleanest house ever. I'm saving this house because every time we come over and visit, like everybody complains and I need it fixed. So I am going to let them be and we'll just go to a different house now. All right, so we're just popping in on Belle. She seems to be cleaning up her house. So Belle is like withering away. She is constantly taking her dad's shifters, and he's been trying different versions on her. She's undergone lots of plastic surgery. She goes running all the time. She goes for swims. She just is not doing great. So since she can't sleep, she's going to do some working out because she essentially has nightmares every time she goes to sleep. She thinks about Landon. She thinks about the day her mom poisoned him. So the only way she can distract herself is by constantly moving and constantly being intoxicated. It's a really sad situation for her. I mean, it's just sad where she's ended up due to a few choices she made as a teenager. Um, you know, being wanting to be a trophy wife isn't like the greatest aspiration in life for sure, but it's like, if that's what you and your relationship wants, like it's not a thing to judge. But it's kind of sad that it's sad that she ended up in the predicament she did because she thought that Landon was going to take care of her. So it looks like everyone in the house is up. Jace is up, probably researching on the medical side of things. So since Dr. Bradford has been exposed as a, Dr. Bradford and Helena were exposed as murderers to Jace, Dr. Bradford has been talking about the shifters with Jace, and Jace is well aware of them. And he likes the idea. So Jace hates Dr. Bradford, but he is not above using him for what he wants because Jace feels robbed, rightfully so, of his life because of Belle and Dr. Bradford. Jace realized he probably wouldn't have been happy with Marigold, that, yeah, he was planning on marrying her after high school and stuff like that. But after their hookup, like, he kind of was like, okay. So maybe it was just that I had desired an experience with her, but not really a life with her. So he is very jaded and kind of has the take what I want attitude because he struggles to be happy, kind of like just a piece of crap, and essentially Dr. Bradford's minion and second in control. But I'm going to have her try to go to sleep. Let's see what the kids are doing. Oh, they're over here in this house. Yeah, so Cammie and Landon Jr. are just growing up, and they feel like their parents are normal, just like Marigold and Belle felt like their parents were normal. It's just, you know, they don't see anything weird about it. They're not really worried about their mom because she's always been kind of eccentric. Their mom has told Cammie that her grades are really important, and they want her to be she wants her to be a good student. And I think that's Belle's way of saying, like, don't get trapped in my kind of situation where you didn't take your education seriously and you didn't do anything with yourself. So Cammie tries to be a really good student, but because they're still all under Dr. Bradford's clutches, she is still kind of raised with, like, this is how you take care of a home. This is like how you cook meals, because Belle doesn't want to give her father the impression that she is rebelling against him. And it looks like we have a loose tooth from Landon and some nightmares from, oh, they have the bed. Oh, I hate that so much. But we're just going to say that they had nightmares, and, well, one of them did. And she's going to put them back to bed. So Belle's going to come in and put them back to bed. But Belle really does try to be a good mother to her kids. She feels like that's like the only piece of herself that she feels like that's the only piece of herself that she's proud of. So she's pouring into the kids, just making sure that they know that they're loved and, their mom and dad love them so much. And she often tells Landon Jr. how much he looks like his real dad. They have a difficult dynamic. Maybe Belle is really strict about school with Cammie, and maybe she's grounding Cammie for not doing her homework. I'm just going to say that's what it is. She's very strict about that because she doesn't want to see Cammie fall into the same, like, little high school stereotype Belle was living. But I'm going to say that Belle is often telling Landon Jr. he looks so much like his dad, and Landon Jr. is like, okay, like, I mean, we're blonde, but and she's talking about, like, things that are, oh, like when your dad was like the lead football player. And while Jace did play football in high school, he wasn't like the starting quarterback, which Landon was. So, like, her stories are crossing over from Jace's, and she's kind of blurring the lines between their safe story of their marriage and the kids being his versus the reality that Landon was their father, and he was killed by Helena, which she has also told their kids that they are not allowed to drink tea at their grandmother's house, and they're not allowed to talk about why. So that's kind of where she is in life. So I popped in on Marigold, and she was literally here with Jace talking outside of the family. And apparently they have decided to continue to hook up. So while this is happening, we know that Jace said, I'm going to pretend like they went down to, like, the shrubs area or somewhere along the coast, and that guy didn't see them. But while Jace, doesn't feel like she's the one and he wants to like change his whole life and become a hero and run away with Marigold because she's his one true love, he is not like upset with continuing their affair. And apparently Marigold isn't either, even though she felt like she got away with it and she didn't want, Nico to find out because he is the perfect husband. She's obviously not upset enough to stop hooking up with him. And she also got an STI from him and she obviously does not care. So it is really unfortunate. But it looks like, that's what they have chosen to do. So I'm just going to flow with it. Like, I'm going to tell the story at this point. I'm like sitting back and relaxing and watching. These two are drawn to each other. It's obvious. They're drawn to each other. Marigold has been manipulated her whole life. And when you are in those kind of environments and around those people for so long, sometimes you become the abuser yourself because it's all you ever know. And that's how you survive because, like, Jace feels like he's entitled to take what he wants because things were taken from him. That is why he does it. They are just people who were kids who were abused, grew up in those situations, and decided to, continue the cycle. They're not breaking the cycle. So that is just what it is. Obviously, someone's calling. I'm going to assume it is probably her husband. I mean, they did just have a new baby. So, of course, her husband is probably like, hey, like, did you get lost on your jog? It's been a while. But apparently she thought it was a good idea to ignore that call. I don't know who this guy is, but he has chosen to enjoy their conversation, and the other guy is just standing around. So he's joining in, but he's probably one of his patients. He could be one of Jace's patients at this point. Jace is a doctor. He's no longer an intern. It has been a few years. And Marigold is probably making simple talk because maybe she's wondering, like, did he see us down in the flowers? And she's realizing, okay, Jace is flirting around. Maybe he's just like smooth talking. Um, but yeah, he's probably just playing it off as smooth talking. Looks like it's a little chilly outside, so we probably need to get everyone home, especially Marigold. She just had another baby a few months ago, or two babies. She had twins a few months ago. But yeah, I'm disappointed to see that this is the path that she's chosen to take. Obviously she's paranoid, checking behind her back, seeing if anyone saw them. Jace is feeling pretty suave. Jace is obviously feeling really suave about it, but yep, these two have decided to continue their streak of their affair. That's kind of where we are with them, I guess. I need to check if she's pregnant because down here, number one, she's still combating her, her STI from WHOOHOO. They flew without a parachute. Someone did see them. Someone did see them, and they did it down there, like probably in that boat. That's actually probably accurate, right? They were down there in the boat. We're gonna say that was where their little spot was. So let's check MCC and see if this dumb girl got herself pregnant. Yes, she did, with Jace's child again, which fits the challenge. Our heir is supposed to question who its dad is, and all this is gonna play a big part because can we start going home now? All right, she might be stuck. So let's just switch over to Nico. But yeah, so our heir is supposed to question who its dad is. We haven't decided which one of our children is going to be our heir. I think I'm just going to roll a dice or have you guys vote on it. But now we have a good combination. We have 3 kids by Nico, 2 kids by Jace. And once she ages up into an adult from a young adult, we have to divorce Nico, take the kids, and raise them under our own roof. So we can leave that grayish area with these men in her life, where the kids are questioning who they are. Why is Jace at Dr. Bradford's? Why is Jace at Dr. Bradford's? I mean, not Jace. Why is Nico at Dr. Bradford's? Oh my God, I'm so scared because in the last episode we learned I can't even play him. Oh my God, in the last episode we learned that I'm gonna have to peep in the dollhouse. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Oh my gosh. Um, in the last episode, we learned that Dr. Bradford did Marigold's blood work and found out she had the STI. Um, so we decided, well, I decided that he would blame Nico for not being loyal to his daughter before he would blame his perfect daughter for having an extramarital affair on her husband. So I think that he is here because Dr. Bradford's going to confront him. To be continued.